Hi, you can go ahead and hop into a queue. I'm entering game right now.
Okay, I'm in a queue.
Okay. I'm gonna go I'm gonna refill my water real quick. Be right back in like a
Okay.
minute. Okay, I'm back.
Hello.
Alright, so since our last session, two things. One is have you seen any improvement? And two, do you have any questions since last time?
I feel like I have a better positioning,
Alright.
but I haven't played a lot of Doom since. But every time I played, I noticed that I was trying to do combos. Yeah,
You're just trying to what?
I was trying to do combos. The combos you type down.
Uh-huh. And you're saying that's a good thing, or are you saying you're doing it too much?
No, I'm saying it's a good thing.
Alright. And
And
then, do you have any questions that have come up since last we spoke?
mm, not that I can think of right now.
Okay.
Is it okay if today? I wanted to try
Tracer,
Tracer.
yeah, I think you said that, and then I didn't respond because I was in a game. Yeah, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
So it looks like last season uh your DPS went down significantly, almost 100 SR, or sorry, almost 1,000 SR, or over a
Yeah,
1,000 SR. Was that before or after we had our session?
that was after. It's because I was I was having fun in Ron's, and I was trying
Uh,
to do combos.
all right. So you're just l- learning new things, but that was taken while you're learning it, puts you down a little bit. Or I'm trying to think of the word for that. Learning curve.
The what?
There's a learning curve. So like at while you're learning, you're gonna be doing a little bit worse until you learn how to do it.
So I should do it with like my SR.
So no, what I was saying was that makes sense that you would go down because while you're learning new things, you're not gonna be playing your best.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I understand. And I was thinking about this season. I'm gonna try and climb back up, see where I can go.
Okay. Well, these queues are long.
Yeah. 5 minutes.
Oh, never mind. I was about to think of something and then I thought I answered it.
Ah, yes, I have a question now.
Alright.
I was thinking about Tracer's blinks. Like, when's the ideal time to use them?
For movement, for dodging attacks, it's really all situational. But I'd really have to see how you're using them because sometimes you could use them too little, sometimes you could use them too much. It depends on the person. Sometimes people waste them. Sometimes like you might not be like letting them recharge before you go back in. Or you could just not be using them often enough and just running straight at them and then getting mowed down. We'll have to see, or I'll have to see how you're using them.
Hmm.
Because since they're very situational, I couldn't just kind of tell you. I couldn't just kind of I couldn't tell you this is how you use it in general because it's always gonna vary.
Okay. Oh, game found.
Okay, I'm spectating.
Now entering the Temple of Anubis.
It is time to act.
Okay, so in general, your playstyle on Tracer is gonna be an opportunist. So you should not be in the front line. You should be on the sidelines of the fights, and you should be not looking to initiate or tank anything. You should be looking to clean up kills, so people that are low. You should be looking to go on isolated targets, people that are alone, people that are half, people that are low, that kind of deal. So you're gonna be looking for things to like jump in on.
Attackers incoming.
Okay.
Defend objective A.
So they're back, kind of like their back line.
Side to back, yeah.
Enemies found. Preparing to engage. Help me. You are group up. This will be useful.
Tin top.
Oh, hey, very nice. The execution's very good. Okay. We talked about crosshair placement last time, right? I saw that in
Yeah, a
the
bit more
notes.
like.
I just
be
want
more
to
for
see.
the head.
Yeah, I want to see that your crosshair more at head level because especially like on the Zenyatta when you're going in, you hit all body shots and those should be headshots because he's not expecting you and you have all the time in the world to line it up. So there, instead of teleporting in front of him, you want to go behind him.
I require assistance.
Kill the Mahal.
Oh,
Let's try that again.
Surrender to my will. Allow me to repair the damage.
Gotcha.
So there, I think that you were a little hesitant on where you wanted to go, and I definitely think that the behind option was the better option. But you kind of went to the front line, then you went to the back, and that wasted a whole lot of time where you're just kind of sitting outside the fight.
Yeah, I didn't know where they were for a while.
Yeah, you can know where they are even if you can't see them, just based on where your team's shooting. If your team's shooting in a corridor, like if you see your team all shooting on the right, then they're probably on the right.
Whoop. I tried to go for Bongo.
As Tracer, you never want to go on them head on, so because the Bongo's in front of them, you would have just been farmed, so you don't really want to go head on to get the Bongo.
Ah, shit, that was cool.
60 seconds remaining.
Allow me to repair the damage.
During that time, you can still be shooting people.
Oh, I can. Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah, you can still shoot while grab.
Yeah.
The second thing I'd say is that your reloads are kind of out of sync with when you're blinking, so I'm pretty sure you can reload and then blink, and then that will cancel it. I don't know if I'm not wrong, but it seems very choppy. You know, yeah, it's like that.
Like that?
Yeah, that's how you should be using your reloads, but a lot of the time you'll blink, then reload, then
Deja vu.
it's kind of very you don't spend a lot of time shooting.
Bombs away.
Whoops, I thought I had my recon.
In time.
Alright, so there. First off, you don't want to try to pulse targets that can get out of pulse. So Reaper has fade, and you didn't see him use fade, so that means that he's not a good target to try to pulse because he can just get out of it.
When he fades, there's no more heat. It gets off
Allow
him.
me to repair the damage.
Yeah, when he fades, you can't. It doesn't damage him. Same thing with like Moira's. You don't want to do it to a
Down
Moira.
for the count.
So Soldier would be good.
Soldier would be good, yes, because he can't do anything to stop it.
And
My
stay.
ultimate is ready. My sound barrier is almost ready.
I excited the enemy.
Oh wow. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
So I've seen you going for melees, but do you know how to go for blink melees?
No, is it like when they go fight on and then they mingle?
Yeah, like that. If you learn how to do that, right, first off, it's good for finishing off kills, but the second thing is it makes it very easy to go for pulse bombs, because you blink and pulse. So if you learn the blink range, then you can go for blink pulses very easily.
Resistance.
Wait, nailed it. Let's try that again.
See through the doors.
So there, when you're trying to stall for
60 seconds
time,
remaining.
like you're just trying to get your wait for your team to get back, you should be using all your blinks. If you're dying with blinks up, then or like if you're dying with blinks or recall, then that means that you're doing something wrong because you could have survived.
Repair the damage.
Just in time.
I require assistance.
90 seconds remaining.
A touch from afar.
Got it.
Okay. that.
Very nice there. Okay, so when we're like whenever you're close to your pulse bomb or to like any ultimate in the game, you should be thinking of how you're gonna use your ult. So like when you're getting close to it, you're looking to farm it and then use it. So who are you gonna go on once you get it?
On the Zarya.
Yep, if she's still alive by then. It's more like, I'm just letting you know, but it's more like when you're like 85 or something like that. When you know you can get it really fast.
Okay.
Play of the game.
Alright, so a lot of times, in fights, it kind of seems like you blink without needing to. So you should be blinking when you see people shooting at you and you know that you're about to take damage, so you blink to get out of that line of damage. But a lot of the time people aren't even shooting at you and then you blink, which what that does is it makes it harder on yourself to output damage and to shoot people. So make sure that when you're blinking, it's to get out of damage, not just blinking because you want, like, just because for the sake of blinking. You want to blink to negate the damage, not to just
Okay.
blink.
Hmm.
Okay, probably hop in the other game. Yeah, I'm gonna demonstrate what I was talking about with the blink melees. I'm screen sharing in Discord right now.
Cheers, love. The
Okay.
holidays are here.
So, blink meleeing is gonna look like this, like that. So you find, and if you practice it, you can find that melee range, or that blink range, to where you blink in and melee, and you do that. So that's a good way to finish off kills. But then what you can also do with that is, let me get my ult here.
Double kill.
So then you can go for blink pulses, and this will help a lot for getting pulses off, right?
Wait
Oh,
for
pff, of course I messed up when I'm trying to demonstrate it.
Double kill.
But even with your blink melees, you also learn how to do the 180 blink, which is good for pulsing as well.
nice one.
If they're close to you, so if this is, so he's closer than my blink range right now. So I'm gonna blink and 180 around.
Down for the count.
That's kind of more advanced, but I just practiced the blink range. So now you're gonna
Bombs nailed it. Smash it.
go for things like that.
And stay there.
Yeah, but a lot of the time, in fights, you'll kind of be on the sideline, you're shooting people, and nobody's looking at you, yet you just go like this. And then, also, you just don't, you should be holding in left click probably the entire time. There's not a reason to be holding in left click unless you're, there's no one that you can actively shoot at. Like, it was good when you saw that the, like, for example, last point, and when you're trying to go in the Orisa and she's behind shield, you reloaded, you didn't shoot, you blinked behind the shield and shot her in the head. That was good. You were saving your ammo for when you're actually going to be shooting at someone. But when everyone is exposed in a fight, there's not really a reason why you shouldn't just be left-clicking the entire fight.
And
Just
Okay,
be
so even if it's not focused on somebody, I can just spray also?
yeah, you can just spray, because that's going to get you ult faster, it's going to put damage out there. And then you also just should have a target in mind, though, like all the time anyways. So like in a fight, you should always have someone that you're trying to focus, but in general, just be left clicking more than you are now.
Okay.
Alright, let me know when you get into a game. But yeah, like remember, just like crosshair placement of aiming head level, so that you're hitting headshots, not body shots. Remember that, especially Tracer, I don't know how recent it is for you, but it was like maybe like a month ago, month and a half ago, Tracer got a buff where her range was increased for her fall off on her gun. So remember, she can do a lot. I just one-shot her from there. You can do a lot of damage.
So I need to try to stay at that distance?
Yeah, you can stay at the blink distance. So like blink distance, like the distance where it takes you to blink melee, is like the perfect distance to stay with as Tracer.
have some of that.
because it's far away from them, so you're not getting too close to them without needing to. But then you can also blink in if you need to.
So I can get the most damage like in the safe zone.
Down for the count.
Yeah, it's a safe zone, while also you're doing a decent amount of damage. You can get close, but you have to be very careful of which heroes you're getting close to. So like certain heroes, they'll do more to you at a closer range. So like Reaper, DPS in general, if you're getting close to them, they're going to be doing a lot of damage. The only people you really want to get close to are maybe like supports, because they don't do a whole lot of burst damage and you can finish them off very fast at close range.
So like a Mercy.
Yeah, like a Mercy, she's not going to be damaging you, so you can get close to hit all of your shots. But if it's like an Orisa, if you get close to her, then that means that she can mow you down just by like headshotting you. So even like tanks, it might not be a good idea to get close, because you can do the same amount of damage from right here than you can right here. It's just going to be easier for them to hit you.
Alright. I'm backfilling a game.
Alright.
Tip top.
Alright, it's 3rd point.
Now entering King's Row.
Maximum charge.
Hey, go.
This is my will.
Just wondering, this is off topic to the game, but do you have like a tank friend online that you could maybe
Payload is approaching
play with?
its destination.
A tank friend?
Yeah, to get faster Qs.
I could ask someone.
Defeat.
That way we don't have to sit here for 10 minutes. It could be like a 2-minute queue.
Oh, or else, so maybe I can play Zarya.
Of the game.
Only if you want to.
Oh, I like playing Zarya. So, I'm gonna go in a tank queue. Maybe
Alright.
tank positioning, is it similar to DPS?
It's so we went over generalized positioning, I think, last time, where you just always want to be next to cover, and that's how you're going to be playing as a tank. What tank in particular do you think that you're going to be playing?
Zarya.
Zarya, oh yeah. So as Zarya, first off, you need to evaluate like what's your main tank, but most of the time you want to be staying behind your main tank. And basically you have to think about it this way. Your bubbles are it's the biggest aspect of your kit, so you should be thinking about your bubbles the most. Getting good bubbles means that you're protecting your team, and it also means that you're getting energy. And getting energy means that you are therefore doing damage, getting kills, and ult charge, which in turn wins fights, and then wins games. So energy, like bubbles, is gonna be the biggest thing to be thinking about. I'm spectating by the way.
Prepare to
Yeah.
attack.
So I need to have the highest
Select
energy
your
possible.
hero.
Not necessarily. Because you should be focusing on helping your team with your bubbles, because helping your team with good bubbles that protect them will therefore get you energy. So if you're thinking about it this way, if I have to leave and reconnect, I couldn't expect you. So if you bubble a Ryan who charged your teammate, then it therefore saves them, and it also gets you a lot of bubble energy. Okay, it's not. It's only letting me spectate Tifa right now.
Traveling to Iconwell. 5, 4. Traveling to Iconwell.
The power of
Oh yeah, there we go. I'm on you.
Barrier active. Don't hold back.
So remember, you're not a main tank, so you have to be very careful with your positioning. It's good what you're doing, you know.
Oh, shit.
Ready for battle. Touch from afar. Make them paralyzed. Barriers on you. Bring it.
So instead of bubbling them as he starts the charge, bubble them if you see that they get charged, because otherwise you just waste the bubble.
Okay, so I really need to use it if I want to save someone.
Yeah. And then also, like, if you don't need to save somebody, you could also bubble your diva, since she'll be the biggest target, and therefore you'll get the most energy from her.
Oh, whoop. They're all gone.
Hello. Привет.
Right there I didn't need to use it. Whoops.
So there, for example, you could have
I should have
saved that.
waited.
Yeah, you could have saved that Hanzo if you didn't give it to him immediately. Especially, like, think right now you've been at 100 charge for the past like 2 minutes or 1 minute, and once you're past like 80 charge, there's no reason to not be using your bubbles for protecting people. Like that, for example, that bubble using yourself, you could have used it right now to protect yourself. Like
Oh, the one I have now?
yeah, so like anything past 80 should be used as protection, because you're just gonna get energy from it anyways.
I am here. Maximum charge. This will heal you. I am on fire. Everyone follow me. Power. Everyone on the objective.
My blade is ready to be unleashed.
Oh, we have a Reinhardt now.
Objective A captured.
Go. Just a scratch. Barriers on you. Go. Behind you.
Got you good as new.
Ready for battle. An expedient solution. Check out this gun. Get in there.
My warrior spirit burns. Migoto.
Over here.
Alright, very good tracking there, very good with right click melees to finish off kills. That's like really what you want to be doing, especially like the right click melees to finish off kills. That's going to be really good for bursting down targets. Just keep on doing that.
Barrier activated. This
I need
is
to-
strength.
Do the right click
Like that.
melee, yep. And then that's going to do a lot of burst damage. So only do that when they're low.
Go, como Volги, that will be
Oh
fun.
boy.
Огонь по готовности.
Ah, whoops.
So there, for example, that big bubble to go on your Ryan, because you had bubble up, he was charging in, so when he's charging, he's very easy to kill, because he's like basically going in one direction. Same thing with like a Kree or Sign Nooning, you bubble him because he's standing still, so he's gonna be able to get focused easily.
Give me your best shot.
Genji, who's blading, you want to use your bubbles to protect, basically just protect people when they're doing things that they'll get focused during.
Barrier activated. I have sighted the enemy. I need healing.
There, during that fight, there were a few times where you could have used your bubble to save, I think, 2 different people.
Perseverance.
Just make sure
is
that you're remembering to be using your bubbles for the tanking. And also staring at the ground.
Ready for battle.
So your left click has a range. Anything past that range, you should be right clicking.
Get in there.
Yahi Parambasta Vittahe.
Give me your best shot. Barriers on maximum charge.
There, I tried to bubble my back though.
Yeah, that's a good bubble. Preferably instead of
Just like in training.
jumping into the mines with your bubble, which is good if the fight's over, but because the fight was still going on, you needed that bubble to save yourself in other scenarios. So basically you wasted the bubble for energy, where you could have used it to protect the Baptiste, to stand in front of him and use it to body block. And you could also have stayed alive longer.
This will restore you. You seem in need of aid.
Oh, like there, normally I would have used it.
Огонь по готовности.
So with your grav, when you're looking for your grav, you should be looking for like the biggest group of people you can find and launching it at their feet.
60 seconds remaining.
Okay, so like you basically in the middle of as many people as you can find. And if you're already winning the fight, you don't use it. And even if it's only like 2 people, if that's the only ultimate that you're using, that you need to use it, because two people up is still a 1-team fight.
Oui.
See through the dragon's eyes.
We must ensure the payload progress.
There, normally I would have bubbled him.
Super Giant, ready to hit its goal.
Barriers on you. Don't hold back.
How about a little extra?
Surrender to my will.
Oh boy.
Get in there. Barrier activated. Payload moves towards our desired.
So when you're being frozen by Mei, attempt to turn around and look at the ground, because then you deny headshots from her.
Oh, that example like this?
Yep. So when you're like right before you're frozen, just turn around and look at the ground.
Hit me.
Yep, like that, because then she can't headshot you. And you can see how much less damage you took there.
Like, whoosh, I would have been dead normally. Whoops.
There, you didn't have your Orisa back yet, and you're pushed really far forward, so you could have lived longer with more energy if you had played back.
So, if my Orisa's not there anymore,
If your main tank's not there, yeah, then you don't want to place all the way in the front.
like that.
Well, and you have 2 picks at this point, so you want to push forward with the picks even if you don't have the Orisa. And you also don't want to hold behind your entire team.
Give me your best shot. Get in there.
Dragon consume you!
This will restore you.
Yahi Parambasta Vittahe.
Barrier active. Push forward. Barriers on you. Go. Огонь по готовности.
So remember what we said before about like with your pulse bomb. So when you get close to your ultimate, you should be thinking and looking for a place to use your ultimate. So there you held on to your ult for maybe like half of that fight, like 30-40 seconds, and I saw maybe like 3 different opportunities that you could have gotten a better grab out of. So just make sure that you're looking for it when you have it.
Just a scratch.
There you pushed really far into them.
Yeah, I was behind them.
And that's probably not you lived, but just because you lived doesn't mean it wasn't a bad positional mistake. Don't want to push that far forward when they're all there.
Ah,
Oh,
shit.
launch it at feet. Launch it. Look at the ground. Launch at the ground. You're gonna get more people in it. There, you press Q while you're still looking straight forward.
Victory.
Okay, so I need
Otherwise-
to put my crosshair where I want it to go.
Yeah, you put your cursor where you want to go.
Oh.
Play of the game.
Alright, other than that, very good last fight. You survived really long, you had high energy, you used your bubbles, you started to use your bubbles a lot better this game.
Oh yeah. So it's... Wow.
Okay, you can start another queue, but I guess if I'm gonna just demonstrate to you. I'm in Discord while you're queuing. So you can also use bubble like this to body block for people. So like in that example where the Baptiste is on the ground, if you use your bubble or your body to stand in front of him, I thought you were using your body to do it, but if you also use your bubble, then you can tank it for longer. Whereas you had used that same bubble to get energy from the mines, and then that meant that you didn't have that bubble to tank for the Baptiste. So in the middle of a fight, you don't want to use use bubbles for energy. I'm just trying to get Grav here so I can show you how Grav is projected. So let me know when you get in a game.
I think I'm in the game, but it's Horizon Lunar Colony. I don't
Alright.
know.
Russia with love.
So like, Grav goes where you want it. So when you're looking at the, like, I'm looking for them to all group up. I'm gonna wait for them to get close together, and I'm gonna look at the middle of their feet and grab them together. I can maybe get 3 here if I. No, I think I can only get 2. Oh no, there we go. I got 2 into that. 3 when he walks back in. Yep. So you look at look at where you want it to go. So I looked at the feet of where they're at. I looked at the ground, and the very middle of where all 3 were, and I got 3 into it. So you wait for them to kind of walk together. You wait for them to line up, all of them to walk together, and then you press Q at their feet.
Okay. No, I'm gonna try that.
Traveling to Horizon Lunar Colony.
Sniper, be ready. Coordinate your attacks on the objective.
Ready for battle. Greetings.
Oh. Oh, whoops. Maybe I shouldn't have gone them. I should have gone back.
At that point, it didn't necessarily matter. You only really want to. It only really matters if you get away when you're full energy. When you're full, like when you have a lot of energy, like over 60 energy, you want to get out because then you'll have a lot of that energy for next fight.
Above 60?
Yeah, like above 60, because it'll decay. Anything below 60 won't really matter because you'll just be like at 20 by the time the fight starts again.
That's more like it.
Oh boy.
I am injured.
There, you probably don't want to follow your ball into their back line because your ball has a lot more mobility than you do, and you're not going to be able to get away from the back line. So instead of going, like, running that far deep in with your ball, you want to stay kind of at a medium distance. Because you don't have a main tank here, you're going to be playing kind of like you're playing Tracer, like at the mid-range, looking for stuff to go in on.
Just a scratch. Give me your best shot.
Ah,
So same thing with Mei. If you see a Widow or a Hunt or something shooting at you and you start getting low, you turn away, duck your head to the ground, then you start like kind of zigzag walking.
Nanoboost administered.
Ready for battle.
Just kind of think of it like as real life. Like someone's shooting at you, you start, if you're zigzagging, it's going to make it a lot harder for them to hit you than if you're just kind of walking in a straight line. There, that's a good grab. Just make sure that you're paying attention. That Zarya was 1 HP. If you had focused her down, then she would have died. Your Genshi got her, but you could have finished her faster.
the enemy Zarya?
Yeah, she was 1 right before you grabbed. So pay attention to health bars, because that'll matter a lot. Because if you're, then you know how long you have to be looking at them, because you can kind of go, okay, well, I only have to shoot at them for 1 more second. So as soon as I'm done shooting at them, then I can look at this person.
Ready for battle.
Oh, there.
Oh,
You ran into them. Remember, you're running a ball as the main tank, so you can't play as a main tank. You have to play as if kind of you're a DPS. You're sitting on the side, waiting for your ball to do stuff and waiting for an opportunity to go in.
oh, okay.
You ran in and you died because you were in the front with nothing to protect you. So when you get into any game, you need to evaluate what's your team comp and what's their team comp. So because you have a ball, you're gonna play a lot differently than if you had a Reinhardt. Because you have the ball, you're sitting in the back waiting for the ball to do something, like a Tracer would. You're waiting for your tanks to do something, and then whereas if you have a Reinhardt, you're in the front with your Rein.
Would that be the same example if it's a Roadhog?
With the Roadhog, since he's there with you, whereas the ball's basically off doing his own thing. Like, he's not always going to be with you. If you have a Roadhog, he's going to be somewhat with you. He's not going to have a shield, but he's going to be with you. So you can be a tiny little bit more aggressive than it when you have the ball. But ball's definitely going to be the least aggressive. Like, you're going to play the least aggressive and play the most on the side when you have a ball. But with a hog, you're going to be playing like kind of medium. Because
Okay, so it's like if it were many DPS.
Yeah, like it's because you don't have the shields, you're playing as if you're playing with a whole bunch of DPS.
Okay. So I'll mainly stay with them. Maybe a bit in front of them?
Yeah, a little bit in front of them, but you shouldn't be too close to them until like the ball starts distracting or your DPS get picks and then you push aggressively, but you shouldn't be in the like all the way in the front acting as if you're a main tank.
Okay.
Okay, we have 15 minutes.
Do we have time for a last one?
Yeah, we have time.
Oh,
Should maybe even fit into if the game goes fast.
I found a game. Ooh, Volskaya. I'm really not good with defending Zarya though.
Alright.
Oh wow, everybody left.
You're new to the game, right?
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I know some players who are like top 500 and are like gold border who don't know map names yet.
Oh yeah.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Do you know your map names?
Yeah, I know my map names.
Salut.
Five, four, three, two.
Do you think you're gonna get Overwatch 2 when it's gonna come out?
Yeah, probably. They'll have updated graphics. Just
This.
it's probably gonna be like $60, but whatever. Like I'm looking to go pro in this game, so I'll do it if it's updated graphics. Plus, there's the new game, like competitive game mode that looks cool.
You're looking to go pro?
Yeah.
Not yet.
I hope you'll go pro.
Thanks.
Oh, thanks, Sid.
Touch from
Do you have a favorite team?
My favorite team's the Philly Fusion, but that's because I live near Philly. I don't actually watch it that much because I like playing more than I like watching.
I like Sarah shouldn't have bubble.
Yep. So when you see mistakes, you identify the mistake, and then you think to yourself, okay, what could I have done better? And then after you think what I could have done better, then next time you get in that same scenario, you do you do what you could have done better. That makes sense. So next time when you make sure that the person's about to take damage before you bubble them. Otherwise, you don't get energy, and they didn't get value because they weren't in danger.
Not good.
Whoa.
There, you're away
Oh,
from your
hello.
team, and then that caused 2 of your supports to die where you could have bubbled them. So make sure that you're staying with your team. When people are dying, when you have bubble up, unless they're on the opposite side of the map, then that's like your fault basically. You need to be thinking, okay, where could I have? Was it my bad positioning? Was I not paying attention?
So I need to protect them.
Yes, you're a tank. Your job is to protect them, and then when you do protect them, you're rewarded by getting energy.
Barriers on me. Don't be shy. Hit me.
There, you also need to think about like what's low damage versus high damage abilities. When a ball just boops into somebody, that's not a lot of damage, so you're not gonna get a lot of energy for it, and you're not protecting her from anything.
So if he starts shooting,
Yes, if he starts shooting or if he slams, slamming is also gonna be a big thing. But not when they're just rolling through them. That's not gonna be enough damage.
Give me your best shot.
Let's like say also like with a Moira, like unless they're low, if a Moira is just right clicking someone, that's not a whole lot of damage that you need to protect against. There are certain abilities that you're not gonna need to use bubbles for, just because they don't do a whole lot.
so it's only not only but mainly for high burst.
Yes, high burst abilities because, or if they're low too. If they're low, then you bubble them to save their life, or if it's high burst abilities. Otherwise, your bubble's not gonna get energy, and it's also they weren't in danger of dying anyways. Because if a ball rolling through someone's not gonna kill them, and a Moira just pressing right click on someone's not gonna kill them, unless they're low.
This is my will.
Get in there.
Oh,
That was a good bubble. See, that's
big charge.
because your ball was going in, so he's gonna get focused by people, which is a good bubble because it keeps your ball alive and it gets you energy. Oh,
Barriers on you.
very good with the graph there. Just don't tunnel vision on it, and you have to remember that Sig just ulted your team, so you could have turned around, bubbled someone real quick, and then turned back around. So you had to project it up. You could have projected one of your supports because they could have possibly gotten killed by that, and then you're down a support in the fight.
Touch from afar. Oh, damn. Die deep. Locating. This will restore.
Contact.
Don't hold back.
Everyone, freak up.
I'm under attack.
Barriers on
My will.
testicles.
Anyone need? Damn it.
So I notice a lot of times after fights are on, you kind of just sit around, and there are multiple things that you can do after fights are done. You can push forward to clean up kills. You can push forward to just spam spawn. You can use spam spawn with right clicks. You can look to see if there's people in your backline still. There's just a lot more that you could be doing, trying to get ult charge. But you just kind of sit on point and wait for the next fight to start, and that's not always going to be the best thing to be doing because you're not making every moment valuable.
Yes, I need to always be doing something.
Yeah.
Tactical visor activated. She's on my
Good bubble on the soldier.
Mission completed.
This in the bag.
Enemy detected.
Yep, so like here, this is very good. You just make sure that you're not pushing too far forward, but you got the kill. You got a good, that's called a stagger. You made sure that he's respawning at a different time than the rest of his team, which means that the rest of the team has to push forward without him. And then now you have Grav too. Oh,
What? No, I'm going on him.
Ready for battle. Gravity kills.
so this is what's called stalling. This is where you should be swapping to a fast character to get back fast and then touch point. Because at this point you just want to stay alive and stay on point.
Justice will be.
Yep, so here on Ryan you can pin in and try to get a kill with that.
I will.
Ah, well.
Oh, close. Okay, unfortunate. That fight would have been won if you had landed that Grav. Do you know what happened? Do you just accidentally flick to the side?
Yeah, I was looking for my graph. And then I saw that and I'm like, whoops.
Yep, just make sure that you're not rushing it. That Grav is really good. Make sure that you're not panicking and just whiffing it. I know it's an accident, but that mistake is what causes games to be lost. The difference between top 500s and bronze players is that bronze players make more mistakes. The same thing is like pro players. Like pro players make very little mistakes, and that's how they make pro. When you
So I need to try.
Yep.
I need to try and eliminate my mistakes.
Yep, eliminating mistakes is how you get better. So
Okay.
there, if you're that one single mistake was a game-losing mistake because you missed the Grav that could have won you the game. It doesn't matter that
Alright.
you stalled the entire point; you still lost it because you missed the Grav.
So I could have grabbed like right before, even if there was nobody, so they couldn't go on point.
No, it was because you were looking at like 3 people, and then you flicked to the side and got one person. So you could have grabbed 3 people and you got nanoed too. So you could have cleaned up so many people in that. But right at the last second, you flick to the side.
Hmm.
Do you recall what I'm talking about?
I was hesitant for a while, and then I went for bath.
No. Okay, do I have? No, actually, I can't see them. Go into replays real quick. Can you share your screen real quick? Turn on screen share. Under leave call, and then press stream Overwatch. Okay, now go to career profile. Go to replays, up top middle. Now Volsky Industries. I just want to show you what I was talking about.
Traveling to
So
Volskaya in
press
readiness
N.
for battle.
Go to the very end. But yeah, spectate yourself. Go to the very end.
I don't have
Maybe a little ahead of that, or a little behind that. Yep. To watch your graph here. You're looking at 3 people, and then you flick to the side and get the Baptiste. Look, Sombra, you see that? You could have had this. You could have had the Sombra and the Moira, but you only got the Baptiste. And then they rolled over your back line.
So I should have placed it better.
Yeah, so you should have placed it better and made sure that you weren't flicking like that. Because mistakes like that lose games. Alright, it's really loud. You can turn it off. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up our session. I will have notes to you within 10 minutes, and then after I get those notes to you, I will I'm gonna end the recording real quick.